This is West Beach of the Plasmatics, and when I want to check out all things Kiss, I listen to Tom Zeus on the Shout It Out Loudcast.
Hey, what's up there, Kiss Army? Tom Zeus with another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast, episode 126. We're calling this one Kiss and Oprah.
Right before we recorded, I said, I got a great sound clip you got to drop in. You got to drop it in.
Allow myself to introduce myself. My name is Richie Cunningham, and this is my wife, Oprah.
From Austin Powers. My name is Richie Cunningham, and this is my wife, Oprah. Every time I hear the name Oprah, I just think of that. My wife, Oprah. Only we could come up with a friggin' episode with Kiss and Oprah.
Well, they were on it, so that's where it comes from.
Is Stedman in this episode?
Got himself on, yeah, handsome man named Stedman. That's the best. That dinner scene is the best.
Stedman.
Yeah, I called your name if your name is Brent. Who there? Who called my name?
The Nutty Professor. One of the greatest movies in the history of movies.
I don't know why everybody trying to lose weight in the first place. Ain't everybody supposed to be the same size. We're supposed to be all different. Big, small, medium, midget. You're supposed to have all of that. I don't know what it is. Everybody want to be the same size. Like that Oprah Winfrey. She gonna lose her weight. Wasn't nothing wrong with her. She was fine. Oprah was a fox. She lose all that weight. Her head look all big, skin hanging all off her, and lose the Vandross. Nigga used to be the Black Pavarotti. Lost all that weight looking all ashy. Oprah and Luther need to keep their ass one weight because I'm confused.
Yes, I hope nothing's wrong with Oprah. She doesn't look real.
Ain't nothing wrong with Oprah. I seen Oprah on Hard Copy last week with a picture of her. Got a tall, young, strong gentleman named Stedman. So handsome.
Oh, man.
I like lesbians. Lesbians are cool.
Oh, man. Oh, here we go.
Big childbearing hip. Pop, pop goes the weasel. That brother's funny. Anyway. So, what's going on, Tom? Everything's good over there?
Everything's wonderful. Yep. It's already June. I can't believe it. Yep. Summer's upon us. Good times. Yep.
Yeah. Bruins nonstop.
That's right.
Picking up our schedule, but that's all right. It's good times going right now.
Yep.
In the meantime, though, what we always do here at Shout It Out Loudcast is we go over last week's episode. And last week, we had Kiss graduation, thanks to Murph.
We did, yeah. Kiss graduation, inspirational lyrics from the Kiss world. So, of course, we always start with our poll. So, which song has the most inspirational, in quotes, lyrics? Raise Your Glasses, I, My Way, or the all-time great, I Pledge Allegiance to the State of Rock and Roll. No surprise here. I won with 49%. You had My Way at 20. I thought that would do better, but people just fucking hate the song. Mm-hmm. Raise Your Glasses, 19. And my poor Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance. What am I in the second grade? Pledge Allegiance at 12%. Deserves better. Some comments here. Vincent Roman Maroney.
Knock down that wall, knock down that wall, and knock down that fucking wall.
I don't know that Raise Your Glasses is as inspirational as it is celebrational. However, the lyrics to me got me through some fairly dark times as a teen. Wow, okay, well, Kiss is good for that. And our buddy Steve chimes in, I will always go for something from The Elder. A bloody great song from a bloody great album. He loves The Elder. Absolutely. Graham Richley jumps in to pile on me. Doesn't Tom include I Pledge Allegiance in every poll, and it's getting the beating it deserves? Oh, and then we got two miserable fucks here, big fans of the show. Our buddy Tony Miserable Musalam from Restrained.
Who? The curmudgeon?
Tony the curmudgeon, who says, I is super overrated. I actually find that song to be quite annoying. Who talks like that? Who says quite annoying? And then our good friend, I Love It Louder, absolutely agree. Ugh. The two of you can go on miserable Musalam Island together. It's a great song.
Tony needs some cheering up.
Well, if he gets off his ass and comes on the cruise with us, but then I'm afraid he's going to make everyone miserable.
Oh, exactly. This is so great. This concert's awesome. They didn't play this. They didn't play that. They didn't play this. Like, dude, what the fuck?
It's stupid. This song's terrible. You look at him. He's playing the song out of key. Tommy doesn't even know how to hold the guitar right. I could do that.
Yeah, and if we don't get back and we miss our flight, you know they'll charge us extra. Like, shut the fuck up.
He's Brian in the Breakfast Club. You know, the school comes equipped with fire exits at either end of the library. Sit down, Musalam. We love you, Tony. We love you, Tony.
But you are a curmudgeon.
I getting a ton of love here. Steve Didisco, Elvis Stanley for the win. I don't need no money. I don't need no money. Sean DeHaan, got to go with I for the landslide. Oh boy, love this. People love that stuff. Dave Kinney says, for me, I. Yep. We got a couple of write-in votes for Crazy, Crazy Nights from Emily. That's an inspiration song. Okay. Sean McClellan, I don't know if it's inspirational, but I love I Pledge Allegiance. Yeah, because you're smart. That's the right way to go, buddy. Justin McDonald, in all capital letters with exclamation points, my way. All right. And a couple episode-specific comments here. Rich Uncle Paulie, he piles on us a little bit. I like this one. Check out the Psycho Circus Secret Fanboys with not one, not two, but 3 tracks. I figured 2 for sure, but was taken aback by the third one. However, I'm not going to judge because, quote, it's not my place.
It's not my place.
Another great episode. Thanks, and keep up the outstanding work, guys. Lovely Lance says, even though Crazy Nights was represented, I would have chosen Reason to Live with lyrics about being strong and moving on from mistakes. Surprised King of the Mountain wasn't listed. All right.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't like that song.
Christopher Hamilton. My first thought is, why would we want graduates being subjected to Paul talking about his love gun or Gene offering to take candid photos in the ladies' room after the ceremony? But you guys dug deep into the catalog to find 10 not so good, but inspiring songs. Well, that's a nice backhanded compliment. Thank you, Christopher. MD, got to admit, when I first saw the subject of this week's episode, I was skeptical. But now, having listened and heard your song selections, well, I may not be graduating from anywhere, but I'm ready to run through a fucking wall. All right, nice. Uh-oh. And then you and our friend Alessandro got into a little argument about Frank Zappa.
Yeah, he's trying to tell me. I'm like, yeah, he's Greek. He's always identified himself as Greek. Like his mother is, I think, Italian, but his father is Greek Sicilian.
Yep.
So, I mean, just as my parents are Greek American, Greek Australian, you can be Greek Canadian, right? They're Greek Sicilians, Greeks in Sicily, specifically Sicily.
And Zappa
like,
might
no, that's not true. No, like, Jesus Christ. Yes,
and Zappa might be a talented musician, a guitar player, but come on, it's
just one of those things that you know what, somebody might be able to prove to me how awesome he is. I never got into it because nothing really commercial from him.
Right.
Everyone talks about his genius and stuff, but I don't know nothing about it.
No, me neither. I agree. I'm not denigrating him. I'm just not a fan of his music. But I mean, I've heard some stuff. It's just not my thing. And then our buddy I Love It Louder came in with a good one here. Love the episode. Then he jumps in with a top 10 songs you would not want at graduation. Lick It Up, Keep Me Coming, World Without Heroes, Down on Your Knees, Bang Bang You, Dance All Over Your Face, Ladies Room, Take Me, Burn Bitch Burn, Take It Off, with honorable mentions, Let's Put the X in Sex, You Make Me Rock Hard. And then I said, thank you for the episode idea. Might have to come up with that one. And then another write-in vote for I. People love that song. So yeah, there's some Twitter feedback on Graduation and Kiss.
Nice. All right. For me, I'll take us over to Facebook. And on Facebook, on our Facebook page, Jason Warden says, perfect pick. Michael Anderson, I can picture Gene Simmons at the podium giving a speech, borrowing from the great Thornton Mellon. You're going to look out for number 1, but watch out for number 2. Matt Wallace. You know this ain't going to be clean. My top graduation songs would be Plaster Caster, You Make Me Rock Hard, Hooligan, Snowblind, All Night, and Young and Wasted.
Okay.
And that's why you are who you are, Matt. God bless you, brother.
Don't stop being you.
Mark Stewart, Ace at the Graduation. Graduation? You mean this ain't my birthday party? Yeah. Over on our Loudcasters page, Tony Smith, let me guess. I is on the number 1 spot. It is in the poll.
Nice.
Tony Musalam.
Oh, wait. Miserable Musalam.
Why the hell is the diploma still shrink wrapped?
Oh.
And then you and him started talking about it.
I commented. I said because he was the speaker. It was like a gift. He's like, and then somebody else jumped in and said you're OCD, and he's just. We love you, Tony, but stop.
Now we're starting to understand Sonny's like constant with you.
True.
Yeah. Virgil Stay. I want to see what you got. Take it off. Yeah,
that would have been that would have been a good one.
Yeah. Paul has been eating too much prosciutto. Jason Leonard.
That's always true.
And then Jack Benaki, a doctor degree in prosciutto. Over on YouTube. Anthony Stratus, awesome episode. You guys, TNZ, are taking Kiss humor to another level. And that's gold, baby. Pure gold.
Nice. Thanks, buddy.
Pete Staros. Is that another Greek? They're all coming on.
Another Grecian. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. They're all coming up on YouTube. Let Freedom Rock from All Systems Go.
That's the 4th of July. That's the song I play when I'm lighting off fireworks.
Yeah. Out of your ass.
Oh boy, you know the empty toilet paper tube?
Yeah, exactly. Mark Stewart, taking under consideration that the graduation songs you chose were the most ridiculous Kiss songs on the planet. I figured one of you guys would have seen the students entering the world as graduates to the tune of Odyssey. Just saying.
Oh, man.
Mr. Antonio, my guess is the following lyrics would be more appropriate for the after grad party. It's a 5-song set. Coming Home, Take Me, She's So European, Sweet Pain, and Dirty Living.
Jesus Christ.
What would TNZ choose as an encore song for the grads?
Spit.
Well, if those are if those are it, that's your song set, then you got to go, let's put the X in sex.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Marty White.
Oh boy.
For the last 10 years, I've been working in a highly specialized job in a plasma fat facility in upstate New York. Last week, one of our systems detected an anomaly with 2 of our samples. To make a long story short, Paul Stanley and Baco are really the same person. Crazy, right? But so many things make sense now. Baco's desire to be his own person explains why he's so angry at Paul lately. But there's more. Paul's tearing down his house. Baco is selling his Kiss stuff. Both are purging. And of course, POWL Paul Stanley wasn't really a parody account since it was operated by the same person. The trouble is that the explanation made no sense to Twitter, and they went ahead and closed the account. Speaking of Twitter, did you see the post from Paul when he had to throw a certain collector out of his house? Apparently, the dude camped out for 3 days before the estate sale, which agitated Paul. It came to a blow when the collector got crumbs from a hoagie all over some Kiss posters.
Look, that's a great one, Marty. You never let us down, but that was obviously that was a parody, but we were talking about this with our group text and before we started recording that you're speaking of things from Paul's estate sale. There's a guy who framed a portion of Paul Stanley's carpet and has it hanging in his house. Now, when you look around and think you have too much Kiss shit, or maybe you're a little too obsessed, look around and see if you have any carpeting hanging on your wall.
Yeah. That's why I don't get into the collection much.
No. I'm a collector, but I'm not.
When the slippery slope you go down, and next thing you know, you are picking up fucking crumbs from a hoagie.
No.
And I got it when I picked up an Italian grinder over on, dripping just some mayonnaise down my cheek. I don't want to get it all over my posters that I got from my Facebook group. Tom, you got some emails to wrap this up?
We do. We got some emails from overseas. We'll start one here from Australia with our friend Andrew Salter. Starts off with, "Good day, boys. Long-time listener, first-time writing in. Just wanted to write in to compliment you both on an awesome job giving us Kiss Nerds a podcast to enjoy. The first episode I listened to, you actually talked about me. You were talking about a guy on YouTube who goes by the name The Fonz, who loves to go to Kiss videos and insult Tommy Thayer. I was the guy who asked the Fonz if Tommy slept with his mom. Not that I'm a massive fan of modern Kiss, but this turd licker is on every Kiss video insulting the band, and I find joy in busting his balls. Anyways, as much as I don't always agree with your opinions on the Kiss catalog, how can any human with ears like I Just Wanna? Wow, how can you not? Oh. Thanks for all the work you put in weekly to give us something to enjoy. It's very much appreciated. If you ever make it to Australia, you have a cold beer and a slab of dead kangaroo to enjoy on me.
Nice.
Cheers, Andy Salter. Oh, Andy, that's fantastic. By the way, I'm all set with the kangaroo, but I'll maybe take you up on a beer. That's great.
Yeah, I have family in Melbourne. I talk about it all the time.
That's right.
They gave me an open invitation. Maybe I'll come there someday and we'll watch Kiss.
That's right. So we're going to go from Australia all the way over to Revere, Massachusetts. I don't know if that's an upgrade, but I'm going to say it's not.
Who is in Revere Beach?
Kelly's roast beef? I don't know. I don't know.
Talk about hair metals, Camaros, and hairspray.
Dude, people talk about the Sunset Strip in LA. You go to Revere Beach, 1986, it's probably worse.
And you go there and now, I bet you there'll be people still like that.
It's probably not an upgrade. Anyways, this is from James Chisholm. Hello, I'm a regular listener to your podcast. I enjoy the show and finding out so much more about Kiss and the other bands that you reviewed. I'm also a Massachusetts native. I grew up in Revere. Then he talks about a thing that he wrote on the Billboard Chartrewind.com website about Sonic Boom. Feel free to discuss. Thank you, James. James, thanks for chiming in and thanks for sharing your work with us. Very cool. Good for you. Revere. I'm from Medford. Zeus is from Arlington. We know Revere very, very well.
Yeah.
Then our buddy Mike H with some feedback. Shout out to the comment of the week, dude, for his awesome analogy of the solo albums about the high school kids in each album showing the individual parts making up the Kiss sound collectively. Each album makes up for what the other three lack. That was perfect. Mike H. And then he also sent us a very nice email that we're not going to read on the air, but we just wanted to thank him for sending that. A little bit more private, and that's between the three of us. So then another nice email here from Daniel LeBlanc, who's got a lot to say. I got some free time this holiday weekend and I had a question for you guys. You mentioned a yoga workout. I really need to improve on my flexibility. So what should I look up? Zeus, tell him.
That's the DDPY. I got that from Jericho, and it's the wrestler Diamond Dallas Page. He's got this awesome. It's an app. If you use the app, it's pretty cheap. And it's like amazing different little stretching and things like that. It got to the point where I was, skating over the winter holidays, and I'm tying my skates. I'm like, God damn, I'm huffing and puffing to tie my skates. This is getting bad, and things like that. And so, the pounds are slowly dropping, but more than anything, I feel like I don't have the pain waking up. I'm way more flexible. I feel more comfortable. I don't have those aches. And, the stretching and stuff is amazing. It's really, really helpful. And the app is set up in a way that you can go from like old fuck to like superstar to you name it, you can do it. Different levels, different everything. He walks you through it, and it's pretty awesome. DDPY, got that from Jericho. So
Nice.
yeah,
Okay,
try
cool.
it. Tell us what you think.
Cool. And then he continues, and the Arnold Schwarzenegger material, the prank calls and the lyrics are great. And then he said, thanks to Pod of Thunder, great podcast. Those guys are great. Said, thank you to Pod of Thunder and them for mentioning your March Madness tournament. I found your podcast. Well, thank you to those guys. That's awesome. Great show. Good guys. Based on your Kiss Jeopardy episode, I have to question my fandom, not to mention not recognizing some of the lyrics you quote on the end of your episodes. Yeah, we try to dig deep and find some kind of random, like, not.
Yeah.
We try to not do like the chorus of the song, something that you might not catch all the time.
But I must say, don't like beat yourself up. Those are sunny questions on Kiss Jeopardy.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Not question your fandom. Question the guy that's asking the questions.
Yeah, exactly. He continues, the graduation episode was awesome. It was an interesting contrast to the actual graduations of speeches I heard at my youngest daughter's high school graduation. Anyway, glad I found your podcast. Look forward to future podcasts. Sincerely, Daniel LeBlanc. Dan, thank you. That's great. That's awesome. So we're gonna take a jet plane. We're gonna get out of Revere. We're gonna go all the way over to France. Say hello to our good friend Jean-Francois. Hey guys, just a quick hello from a French guy. Born in 1971, I became a Kiss fan when I first listened to I Was Made for Loving You in 1979, and then I began to explore the Kiss discography as a lot of us did. I listened to your show, agreeing and disagreeing with your rankings, comments, etc. Your good humor is contagious, and I am sure a lot of your listeners are smiling as I am. I don't always get all your jokes or references. I got at least the Arnold ones, but that's okay. It helps me improve my American culture. So a big thank you to both Jean-Francois from France with a smiley face emoji, and you, mon ami, are the comment of the week. Thank you, Jean-Francois.
Good answer. Good answer. I like the way you think. I'm going to be watching you.
That's awesome and much appreciated. Tom, did you take French when you were in high school?
Oh, you're speaking to the Arlington Catholic class of 1991 French Club president. Oh, yeah, you are
nerd.
Absolute. Hey, I was Hey, how many guys can say that they were captain of the football team and French Club president? That was me, baby.
Expected a little more from a varsity letterman, Tom.
You expected me to be French Club president.
I had my two-sport athleticism going too.
Hell yeah.
And 4 years of Latin. 4 years of Latin at Stonehill College, Tom.
So you know what's happening right now? We're exposing ourselves as being smart people. Now our listeners are going to think we know stuff.
I took Latin because when I always wanted to be a lawyer, and my brother said to me, "Oh, you should take Latin because those words." I'm like, 8 years of Latin, and I'm like, I forgot everything already. Like,
of course
I was like, imagine if I took 8 years of Spanish, how that could have helped me over the years.
I know.
Fucking useless. But I will say I had Professor John Lancey at Stonehill, and I got to translate the Bible from Latin to English. That was actually enjoyable. It was learning all that stuff, and because he was a priest too, but translating that to take the original Latin and translate it to English, I got pretty good at it. And guess what? A year later, I don't know fucking shit in Latin.
I know. I still know French. My son takes French in high school. I help him with it. I still know it.
Talia has to pick now in junior high, in middle school. Excuse me. She had Spanish and then French. They make them switch in the semesters.
Okay.
And then they made her pick for next year. And
okay.
She chose French.
Nice. There you go.
Like it more. I'm like, okay, take what you want.
Now you can say, hey, Natalia, you're not going to believe this. I do a podcast with a former French club president from a high school with 500 people.
Yeah. The whole language thing, it's always great to know a language. And plus, I grew up in a house where I spoke a second language. Learning another language after that is so much easier.
Yeah.
But I fucking wasted it learning Latin.
Yeah.
Wasted and pisses me off that all that stuff. And I learned nothing.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. You had fun with it, though. You got to translate the Bible. What's better than that?
That's right. Father
Right.
Lane was awesome. He was fucking great.
And there's your academic portion of Shout It Out Loudcast.
If you, the listener, want to talk to us about your courses for the next semester, feel free to reach out to us.
On the heels of our graduation episode, we're now going to be guidance counselors for anybody to pick their classes.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly.
man.
All right. So, Tom, what we like to do now is give a quick shout out to our Patreon subscribers. And we always want to thank them for helping us out, contributing to the podcast, helping us get bigger and better every day. Their efforts and contributions go a long way for us. We had just a great conversation with one specific Patreon subscriber who's gonna remain nameless, but he is not thankless. And he's been helping us with a project coming up that's going to really kind of take off for us soon. There's a little hint for you guys, but and he is greatly appreciated, and he knows who he is. So Patreon members are part of the group. They're part of our Shout It Out Loudcast family. We have stuff, specific earmarked for them, whether it's gear, stickers, shirts, questions, episodes, sneak peeks, all that other stuff. If this is anything that interests you, find the information at the end of the episode. And when you go on and you click on the podcast, there's usually notes in there, episode notes. There's a link to our Patreon account. You can also find the Patreon app or patreon.com. You have to search for creators and you'll find Shout It Out Loudcast. And we're there. We have different tiers. If anybody's interested in joining, take a look, see if you're interested. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us. All that contribution helps us out tremendously. We always appreciate our Patreon members, and we always want to give them a nice shout out.
No doubt. Absolutely. Every week, echo the sentiments of Zeus with the thanks and the gratitude towards all the people that are part of the Patreon family. It's an amazing way to support the show, and we can't thank you guys enough. Like Zeus said, there's stuff going on there. Some exclusive material there, some polls, some behind the scenes, some sneak peek stuff. So please check it out. And, like Zeus said, if it's something that you're interested in, there's all different ways to get involved and contribute, and feel free to check it out. And thank you again to all the people that are currently involved with that.
Tom, what we do next is we go over to Kiss World and talk about what's going on over there.
Yeah, it's kind of quiet here. I mean, the only thing that really happened was a couple days ago, Paul Stanley did an interview on The Talk, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't see it. I know some people were talking about it. He was talking about the End of the Road tour. He talked about his Soul Station album. I mean, look, I'm going to be.
They were putting images of his food up there, and they're all talking about it, and it's just.
I'm going to be completely honest with you. At this point, I really have absolutely no desire to hear a Paul Stanley interview. It's the equivalent of listening to, like a political candidate. It's scripted. It's pre-organized. It's
a campaign speech where you follow the candidate, and he's in Idaho, then he's in Ohio, and then he's in Florida. It's the same speech.
Yeah. It's nothing informative. It's all, like scripted, organized things. And look, and the kind of fans that we are and the kind of fans that you are who are listening, you're going to learn nothing from these. When Paul's doing these interviews, it's for people like, oh, Paul Stanley. Oh, I remember he was in that band. Oh, well, look at him now. Like Paul, like Zeus has been saying for, 6 months now, he's the Renaissance man. And that's what these interviews are.
Yeah. He also has been doing this stuff. He's been on a kick lately. Stevie Nicks, now almost famous.
Yep.
He's talking about his Desmond Child. He's putting up stuff about the tennis player. Like, he has to get involved in any social media conversation.
Anything that's trending, he's got to get into it.
He needs to insert himself in there. Mm-hmm. Paul Stanley's giving his opinion.
Yep.
It's just a little bit overtiring. But the other part to this is, and I got to give Baco the credit on this. Does he not see how like his face looks when he puts these images of himself playing the guitar or something? These close-ups. He looks like he smells like someone stepped in shit. Like
I don't understand. It's funny because we laugh about that, and he's posting these things, and they're positive posts. They're like, it's like him enjoying the guitar or, talking about how much he loves this particular guitar. So you would expect to see somebody smiling or enjoy. It literally looks like somebody shoved dog shit inside the acoustic guitar and he can't get rid of the smell. Like, show us that you're enjoying yourself. Smile. You're Paul Stanley.
He looks like someone
like someone
dropped hot ass.
I don't know what it's the definition of the who farted face. Like, I don't get it. He's like, oh, I love this. I love this guitar. It's like, ooh, oh, too bad it stinks.
Yeah. And then my favorite over here is, not to be outdone, our buddy Gene Simmons
from Kiss.
He's doing the same thing. He's like talking about everything. He's inserting himself. Please, he's looking at muffins. Somebody please tell me why something this good is so bad. And then what? So some guy wrote, this is hilarious, tweeted, Gene Simmons talks about Gene Simmons in the third person again. Gene Simmons to hold a press conference to comment on Gene Simmons' stance on Gene Simmons speaking about Gene Simmons in the third person. Signed, Gene Simmons. And Gene does his typical, don't be jealous of Gene Simmons. Shinned. It makes you look small. That's the guy's Twitter handle.
We've said this before. Whenever he repeats the Twitter handle in the tweet, it's so awesome.
Yes. Who farted? That is not true.
Gene.
Oh my God.
Speaking of Paul and Gene, though, in news, we're recording right now, Wednesday, June 2nd. Our concert is in 2 months and has been. I mean, I know we, talking about COVID and stuff, the world is kind of reopened. There's a ton of bands announcing new tours. Guns N' Roses just announced a tour. Foo Fighters, the bands are announcing summer, fall tours. So I'm all fired up for this Kiss show that we have in August because all signs point to it happening.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to go on, but we'll find out soon enough, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep, can't wait.
So, Tom, you ready to get to the topic?
My wife, Oprah.
You love that.
I love it.
So when we come up with these topics, it's usually something stupid. Like we have this discussion. Hey, did you ever see this? Did you ever see that? And, we're always on YouTube going down that rabbit hole. And when you go on the Kiss rabbit hole, certain videos pop up. Oh. And there's always the one of Paul and Gene on Oprah.
Yep.
Like, let's talk about this. I've got to I remember seeing it a long time ago, but I'm like, all right, let's see this again. So we're going to play it for you. It's basically an episode, it's 44 minutes, 48 minutes, whatever those episodes usually go for. But the beginning part had Jackie Collins, the author, talk about her new book she wrote called Rockstar. And this was at the time. This is during the Crazy Nights tour. So this has to be like...
Yeah, the interview was 1988. Yep.
Yeah. So at this point, she starts the Oprah. Everybody knows who Oprah is. And this is hefty Oprah. This is Stedman's getting the bigger the cushion, the better the push in Oprah. Yeah, this is... Ain't nothing wrong with Oprah. She had a picture of hell. Got herself a young, fine gentleman named Stedman. Anyway, so Oprah starts her show and has Jackie Collins on, and then she comes back from the break and has Gene and Paul and fellow Pantheon podcast member, our Pantheon podcast brethren,
Pamela DeBars from Pamela's Pajama Party.
Yeah,
which is amazing because Pamela is known as the, quote, world's most famous groupie or, quote, queen of the groupies. And she has a fantastic podcast on Pantheon. So when we watch this Oprah episode with Paul and Gene, we're like, holy shit, The irony here. Worlds collide once again.
Yes. So before we discuss it, what I like to do, if I can get a good clip of it, is to play it for you guys. This is, and I got rid of the beginning part where Jackie Collins is talking. If you want to hear that, you can find the YouTube video and can watch it. I suggest you guys watch it. But I'm going to play the episode part of it right now. It's probably a good half an hour. And so if you don't want to listen to it, you can skip through it. But I think it brings context of what we're going to talk about. So for now, I'm going to play the episode, and me and Tom are going to discuss on the other end. So without further ado, here you go.
My next guest used to be so outrageous that they would not allow themselves to be photographed without masquerade makeup on. A few years ago, they wiped off the masks, and fans still flock to see their flamboyant concerts. One of them has had affairs, relationships with both Cher and Diana Ross, and reportedly has a big Polaroid collection of all the groupies he has slept with. They have just finished a U.S. tour, are headed for Japan, and their 21st album, Crazy Nights, has gone platinum. Welcome Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons of the rock group Kiss. Also joining us is a former groupie and rock wife who's author of this book, I'm With the Band, which is coming out in paperback this fall. In it, Pamela DeBars tells of her fascination with rock stars, her sexual liaisons with stars like Mick Jagger and Don Johnson and Keith Moon and others. And she says that being a groupie in the rock world during the 70s was ecstasy every minute. Welcome, Pamela, to the show. We're glad to have you all join us. So, I don't know if you heard Jackie from the green room was saying, Gene and Paul, that what do you do? Where do you go after 60,000 women are screaming and wanting to pull their clothes off and run up on stage and do whatever
you load the bus up with the best 30. And
what do you mean, where do you go? You mean, what does it all mean? Is it one of those?
Well, what do you do after that? I mean, what can you do?
You rest. I mean, what do you do once when you're having fun? It's like you're in the middle of a party and somebody walks up to you and says, you're having a ball. What are you going to do later? I don't know. You
don't care.
You kind of take it as it comes, so to speak.
So to speak. So to speak. So you know what? I think there's so many people who have. Jackie has experienced it through writing it and following groups around and being a part of that scene. There's so many people who have this dream of what it would be like to be up there and having all these people screaming your name. Even before you start the song, you do the first chord on the guitar. There are people who just are dying just to...
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, well... And so, what does that do to your head?
You know, you think you're... I mean, it's obviously what we got in this for in the first place. Anybody who tells you the story of wanting to impart some greater knowledge to humanity is really not really telling the truth. The reason we first started strumming guitars is because we wanted women, and lots of them. And their daughters.
It's great.
And probably their granddaughters.
It's really great. It's kind of like being at a buffet where everything is laid out, and you don't have to take this or this or this, but it's all there to be eaten if you want it.
And so, Jackie said that a lot of you, and I'm not making any judgments or accusations here, have little regard for women. Is that true?
No,
I don't think that's so at all.
We worship them.
Repeat.
Buffet style. I'm briefly.
I think the relationships that happen on the road, one night stands, if you will, are much more honest than a lot of the, let me take you out to dinner, gee, you're an interesting person. That's a lot of crap. And the one thing, can we say that word?
Crap? Yeah, sure.
In that case, it's a lot of crap, and this is what it is. Everybody's having the time of their lives. For girls, maybe it's a chance to be with somebody who's not going to be a dentist or a plumber. There's nothing wrong with that, but they want to spend the night with somebody who's maybe been to Paris and starts talking. That's us.
Yeah. Gene, but do you find that these girls, when you take your pick, you go in the room or whatever, they meet you backstage, don't they think it's going to be more? I'm sure every girl...
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think the nicest part about it is that it's very honest and it's upfront, and nobody has any false expectations of what to expect. I think it's a good time. It's not. It doesn't go through the facade of those preliminary dates when you're not interested in what the person wants to have for dinner. You're obviously more interested with getting dinner over with. So this lays everything on the line, and everybody's there to have a good time.
I don't think the girls, I mean, I think they have a great time, but I think their dream is, every little girl who is watching them up on stage, their dream is that they're going to be the one woman that star up there notices.
But that's
and their eyes are going to lock, and it's going to be a great thing.
Right.
So they'll have this one night or half an hour or 15 minutes of passion.
Or 10 or 4.
And then... Yeah. It's over. Okay, they're left with a great memory, but I'm sure that little girl really thinks that she's going to be the one that's different.
Right.
But I think
Let me ask you this, both of you, then I'll get to you, Pam. Do you find that there have been, along the way, women who did think they were going to be the ones who continued to call and followed you from city to city?
Sure, but first of all, the unrealistic idea that that marriage is in any way involved does not exist. So that's a lot more honest than let's go out to dinner, in normal everyday life, where the girl, sooner or later is going to start thinking about marriage. Marriage is out of the question. That's number one. And number two, so what if nothing ever happens? For the girl, it's a chance to scale the heights of Mount Olympus or whatever. I mean, it opens...
Or go to the bottom of the pit.
Mount Olympus!
It opens doors. It opens, if this is possible, if he can do this to me, damn, I'm good.
Yeah, you say what, Pam?
Well, I wanted marriage, and I wanted a relationship with every single one of these goons that I wound up with. I really did. However, I was willing to just have it just happen when it happened because it was so thrilling.
You say every moment was ecstasy?
Well, it was either ecstasy or just the pit's agony, but every girl gets their hearts broken by some guy or another. It was just these very famous guys that broke my heart, and it was kind of dramatic and exciting.
And so in some way, in being this groupie, is it that you feel that because you go to bed with this guy, that has something to do with what Jean just says, boy, I must be good?
Well, at the time, yes, it did for me, because I didn't know what to do with myself creatively. So I wanted to get as close to the creativity, and that for me was rock and roll music.
Is it the creativity you were looking for?
A lot of it was, a lot of it was the creativity. I wanted to get intimate with the creativity.
So you didn't care whether they were any good in bed or not. It was just the fact that you were there with them, and it was because it was who they were.
And were they, most of them, good in bed?
Huh?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
But the truth is that...
practice makes perfect.
The truth is what?
I was going to say, before anything happens, you're so excited by it. Almost foreplay already happens in your mind.
Before it even happens.
Sure.
We'll be back. Talking about rock stars, the author of Rockstar.
Why fans and some bands say yes to the groupie experience.
If you put something in front of you that looks good enough, you're going to take it. Yes, it's sexist. Yes, it's all that stuff, but you can't say no.
It helps to keep your sanity. Otherwise, it becomes a very lonely system, of being on the road.
That's the reason most people get into rock bands. For the groupies.
It's a heavy metal band. If you don't have any groupies hanging around, then obviously you're not really making it. And so without that sort of foliage that the groupies provide for guys who wear lipstick and, all the regalia, if the girls aren't there, then it spoils their act.
Do you believe that?
I really wasn't listening.
If the girls aren't there, does it spoil the act? That part of it is having the girls,
Yeah, I think it's part of the fun, and it's part of why we're in this, and every job has its fringe benefits, and you're kidding yourself if you don't believe that the same thing happens for doctors or lawyers. There are people who want to marry lawyers, there are people who want to bed down their doctor, and whether it's rock stars or somebody else, somebody's always looking to
bedding
get
down your
pants
doctor.
off.
Next book, Jackie.
I somehow don't think it would have the same feeling. I have to tell you, when I sat down to write Rockstar, I wanted to show the fact that a lot of them are incredibly selfish and treat women like nothing. But I also wanted to show the fact that it was very sad that they do that. Because when they're, in their late 40s, 50s, and they're getting up there, it's not going to be such a kick for them. you know, and they're going to wonder what they've done with their lives. I mean, they're living every man's dream. They've got as many women as they want. They've got more women than movie stars have. But where's it going to get them in the end?
And what is it as fulfilling as it appears to be? I mean, what she just said, it's every man's dream. Gene, can you say to every man that
I think there's something that's going on here. You know, the question sooner or later, I'm sure, is bound to come up. What does it all mean at the end? I don't get this. I thought life was supposed to be about living, and candy's not supposed to be good for you, but so what? It tastes great. And 50 years from now, I want to know that I've done everything, every whim that I imagine. Because when I'm 60 and 70, it's too late. I've got a nice, happy home. I've got my 2.5 kids. I've got my car. I go to church on Sunday. I do all that stuff. I don't go to church on Sunday. I do all that stuff, and I look back, and I'm bored. And I don't want to ever have that thought ever creep into my mind, which is why, as long as I'm alive, I'm going to live it.
I think it's an image that they like to put out themselves. I think they like to have this glamorous kind of look, that there are all these women available and there are all these
But they
people.
are.
Well, yeah, they are, but I think a lot of them don't indulge in the lifestyle anymore because of the dangers that are out there.
Yeah, have you slowed down, guys, at all?
I think when you jump from a plane, if you're a skydiver, you should wear a parachute.
Say no more, Paul. I got it. And so, Gene, I understand. Was the Polaroid collection stolen? You had a Polaroid collection, did you not?
Yes, but the collection was not stolen.
Okay.
One week's worth.
Okay. 1 week's was stolen. Okay, I read
We don't know how they made off with the wheelbarrow, but it was...
And so, truthfully, I mean, really, just give us do you know how many women you've slept with, say, in the past 5 years?
5 years? No. Over the last 10 years, yes.
Okay, 10.
Over 2,000.
2,000. I have nothing to say. I have absolutely nothing to say. Pam?
Well, I just wanted to say I never felt taken advantage of. I never had to stand
Knowing
in a
that you were
line.
one of maybe 2,000 doesn't make you feel a little bad?
Not in this instance, I'm not one of 2,000.
Okay, not in that. Okay. Yeah.
Not yet, anyway.
This show is just gone. This show's gone. Yes, you wanted to say what? Yes. What? Oh, I thought you did. Who wanted to say something? You did, yes.
Well, I just want to say, I totally disagree with what Gene's saying because, first of all, you do have your groupies and you have your women that are into music, that play guitar, that want to meet you guys because maybe you're the reason, we started playing guitar or something. I spent 2 weeks on the road with my boyfriend, who's a manager for a very famous band called Saxon. I seen the groupies, I seen the girlfriends, and I seen how people are. But you guys gotta understand, there's a difference between women and sluts. Okay, go with your sluts, go sleep with them, go have a good time. Okay. But don't tell me when I come up to you to say, look, I really admire your bass playing because I'm a bass player myself. Don't look me, turn me down or whatever just because I won't sleep with you. There's a big difference.
I don't think anybody was ever saying that. This is all news to me.
No, I just feel like because of the way he's saying, I slept with 2,000 women. I have this attitude, like, I know rock stars because I've dated people like you. I know how the business is myself. I'm in the business myself. Understand that, I've had interactions with groupies myself. What I'm saying is you have to understand that there are women who just want to go to a concert, have a good time. So what if they wear miniskirts? So what if they wear leather tops? Maybe they just want to go and have a good time and they're not there for sex.
We never said.
Like her, she goes and has a good time with Don Johnson, Mick Jagger, whoever.
She had more than a good time.
Still, you got the satisfaction of spending more.
So what you're trying to say is not all the women that he sees are want to go to bed with him.
I would never want to be part of his Polaroid collection.
True.
One of these 2,000 his Mount Olympus. Okay.
So, Gene, you want to respond to that?
Look, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say.
I'll say it. I think what the young lady is trying to say here is that she feels that rock stars have this view of women as objects, that they use them. And I think they do use them. And what I tried to show in
Do they
Rockstar
use all of them, or do they use the women, Jackie, who wish to be used?
Yes, I don't know. Use those women
She
who
feels
wish to be
because she's
used. I
pretty
believe
and
that.
because she's blonde and wears a mini skirt that they're automatically going to think if she comes up and says, "I love your guitar playing," that they want to leap into bed with him.
Yes.
And well, she doesn't. She doesn't.
Well, that's a. Well,
That
no,
is
wait.
where you are wrong. No, I'm sorry. That is where you're wrong.
But
I follow your band throughout the careers and things like that. Like I said before, I'm a bass player myself. I've seen it all, okay?
Okay, but let me say this. What does it matter then if he thinks that, but if you're not going to go to bed with him?
That's his problem. You know,
It's not a
maybe
problem,
I'm
it's a
fan. I want to
compliment.
meet you for meeting you, not for what you're, how many inches you're worth. Forget it. I want to talk to you about maybe how you play or notes you do or, things you've learned. Not all women that wear
Can I
mini
ask you a
skirts,
question?
like Jackie just said, don't want to go down your
Can I
pants.
ask you-
I hate to break that.
Okay, go ahead. Go
Can I
ahead,
ask
Gene.
you a
Yes?
question? Look, if somebody attractive comes up to me, and we could be talking about Shakespeare or the socioeconomic political system of the world, if you're standing next to me and you're attractive, don't you think I'm going to think, gee, this is exciting, she's sexual?
But nobody's going to fault you for just a conversation. I
What's
mean,
wrong?
that goes.
A lot of men, they can't make that distinction
Well, we're
in
different.
business.
We're not like that.
Back in a moment.
Keep away from those kinds of
Sometimes it's just good enough just to meet them and say hi. Tell them what you think of them, what you think of their music.
They're just so sleazy. They'll do it anywhere, Take them in his bathroom.
Like the obvious thing would be they're pulling up their deal in front of the stage, flashing.
I guess the most popular way to get backstage is to just jump right up on the stage and then let the security guys pull you off. Because then if you're good looking, they usually just keep you back there.
So how do you get to the women? In your book, will you tell us what you saw, Jackie, when you were preparing for writing Rockstar?
Well, when I was writing Rockstar and I watched what went on, women of every level would go after the rock stars. I remember one of the Beatles telling me when they first went to Washington, they went to this very fancy party in Washington, and all the women, the politicians' wives and the senators' wives and the daughters were all slipping them the phone number and saying, if you can see me tomorrow, that would be absolutely great. So I think it's on all levels. I think rock stars make themselves available. They make themselves a sex symbol, so women go for it.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the women have to be blamed for that too. I don't think these guys can take all the blame. The women are there for them.
It's really, we may be perceived in a certain way, but we equally perceive women in the way that they put themselves out. People are treated the way that they put themselves out to be treated.
What's the best way to get to you, Gene?
It's not difficult.
It's obviously not if 2,000 women got there.
It really isn't, because it's not difficult.
Okay, let me ask you this.
You mean during a concert situation?
Yeah. And so do you get your pick first and then the rest of the guys come?
Oh, absolutely. They all take seconds.
Absolutely.
And so then does it just sort of go down the line so that eventually the security guard gets what he wants to?
The truth is that everybody in the crew, anybody that comes out and works for a KISS crew, does it for fringe benefits as well. They get paid well. They love being on the road because they get
A lot of people
girls
on the cruise really work with certain bands because they know about what is going to happen on the tour that doesn't happen maybe as much for other bands.
Pam, why are you smiling?
No reason.
Because some bands get more than
She's
others.
happy to be here with these two guys.
I've known these guys for 12 years.
Yeah.
The truth is that even though we're glib about it and whatever, but the truth is that the best part, you go to a rock concert for us. We're on stage, we do the show. The best part definitely is going back to the hotel for the encores.
And how long does that go on? All day? All night? All night?
The truth is it depends on how hungry and excited and whatever you are. And depends on...
And who it is, really, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The other fact of life is sometimes you meet somebody, and even though you may not be interested in having a discussion, it's very exciting, so...
That's it.
Works on one level.
What I find sad about all this is the fact that what I tried to do when I was writing Rockstar was show the guy who has had, he laid his way across America, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But at the end of it, there's somebody you want to have conversation with. There's a woman you want to spend your life with, or maybe a month with, or a couple of months.
Right.
One night stands in the end are not very satisfying.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is that a lot of these LA rock stars, these washed up LA rock stars, are pathetic to begin with. I mean, I don't consider myself part of that ilk anyway, and their problems stem from something a lot deeper than being in bands playing guitar.
So I wonder, if when you're in a relationship that is supposedly monogamous, how those women feel about it. I want to know how Cher felt about it and how Diana Ross felt about it when we come back. Back in a moment. I want to talk about how difficult it is to have a real relationship and be on the road. But first, you wanted to say?
There's, during the break, one of the very intelligent members of your audience, young lady. What? I'm being nice. I'm setting it up nicely. She was saying something like, I can't imagine anybody betting anybody down or whatever. And I asked her, everybody's got their fantasy figure. Everybody's got somebody who they put on a pedestal and would love to spend the night together in... swinging from the chandeliers, anything. This young lady said, no, there's nobody I've ever imagined, nobody I could ever imagine.
Do you know there are a lot of women who haven't? Do you know that they're not? You don't run into them, but
I don't know that. I don't believe it.
You don't
I believe when the lights go out and you're by yourself, every lady someplace has, oh, God, I wish I did a...
You're shaking
whether
your
it's
head.
Prince
Why?
Charming or Robert Redford or whoever.
Prince Charming or Prince.
He's
Prince,
right.
absolutely.
I don't believe either that anybody in here doesn't think about somebody. Like, when I was little, I wanted to go out with Matt Dillon, and I wanted to go out with him too, you know, and the guys in the commercial, I've thought about them, you know. It's just everybody does it.
Everybody does it. Absolutely. I had fantasies from the time I was very little about
Oprah, you told me about
superstars.
yours.
Oh, yeah, Jane. Yeah, Jane, yeah. Pam, you wanted to say what? Yes.
I was just saying it's absolutely true. Everyone has an ideal. And with us, we're raised with the media. So it's people on the screen or people in records. Absolutely. I from 8 years old, I wanted
How do you
Elvis.
maintain a real relationship, though? When you were dating Cher, if I may be so personal, how did she view all of this?
I think...
she whooped his butt.
I think the most important thing in any relationship, if it's a one-night stand or if you're really going into a relationship, is to be upfront and honest. And every woman out there is going, yeah, sure. And the very first thing, if I'm going to get into a relationship, I sit the young lady down and say, look, I really care about you. I want to spend, I don't know how long this is going to go on, but let's try it. Here's everything you need to know about me. And I bring the books out and I say, here they are.
Well, that must be really interesting, because with 2,000 women in 10 years, he must have a lot of books to bring out.
Yeah.
There must be a lot of medical history there.
So, Gene, let me ask you this. Does that mean when you're in a relationship with one woman, you don't fool around on the road?
I refuse to answer on the grounds that it may incriminate me.
I understand. Yeah, you're so far over there. You wanted to say what? Yes.
No, I just wanted to say that you don't position yourself all the time like that. We went to a hotel where this rock group was staying.
Which
one? No, I'm not going to say any names here. But the hotel was all open, and it was really nice, and you could watch and see everything that was going on. We weren't on the same floor with them, but we watched them primp, and they went to their little lounge area, and they got their women, actually 2, you're right. And they went off in the other room.
Per person?
No, 2 women for 1 man.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, just one man got 2, though, and he took them off. The bodyguard took them. They didn't even talk to her on the way there. They went in there. They spent 20 minutes in, and then they knocked the girls out. So I don't know what happened.
Knocked the girls out?
Well, not physically knocked them out, but the bodyguard took them and escorted them out of the hotel all the way down to the door. We, on the other hand, just watched on another floor, so...
20 minutes you waited to see what was going to happen?
We waited all night long just to watch them.
You wanted to say what? Yes.
I'm just curious.
Hi.
I'm just curious. When do you take the Polaroid pictures?
Okay. Look, can I say this on my defense? Because I know women out there trying to... there's the guy. Kill him. That's the guy. Look, I don't smoke. I don't drink. I've never been high in my life. I'm a good boy. Honest. Ask my mother. Now wait a minute. Now I'm leading up to a thing. when you tour for 10 to 12 months a year, we've been doing this for 14 years or whatever, you have to have ways of releasing tension. And it's not a joke, it's not a joke. There have been a lot of casualties, drugs, booze, whatever. We've survived, I have at least, and you have to do something to keep your mind busy. And I took up photography as a hobby.
See, I want to talk to you about the no drugging because the impression that people get, particularly from Kiss, I think maybe it was because of all of the makeup and so forth, was that you were Quaaludes. Not to mention the fact that you say that you absolutely don't do it.
The show that we do and what we've always done could never be done by somebody in the condition of Gumby.
Yeah.
You know, we have a great time. We believe in living life to the fullest, but living life to the fullest doesn't mean killing yourself, proving you're alive.
So you guys don't do drugs. If you guys don't do drugs, then you know that you're not the norm. Because there's a lot.
Well, I don't believe that. I think this whole stereotype of what's norm and what isn't the norm is really misleading. We had a woman over here before saying about how a senator's wife would never do something like this. Everybody has these stereotypes and role models, and somebody being that naive.
You said a senator's wife. You don't know some senators' wives. Haven't you read Jackie's book? That's who's doing it. You said it?
I said I found it hard to believe that a senator's wife would present herself to either of these gentlemen.
I think it's important for your own well-being and your future that you search for a new role model.
And why would you feel that when you know what the senators are doing?
Absolutely.
You know, if the senator is doing it, let the wife do it too.
Yeah!
We're out of control. We'll be back in a moment. Thank you. Barbara Butterqueen is here with us in the audience, and you're a very famous groupie. You've done a lot.
That's right.
And why? You just because you love music?
I love the boys in the band.
I want to take a look at this clip so you can see what we're talking about here.
You know, Barbara can't be the only guy not to meet her. She walked in, she went, right. Okay, I want David, I want him and him. Trisha, go ahead. Trisha went, I'll take the horn section, and I'll take who's the fat guy in the back? Yeah, I want you too. Yeah, you.
So he has 2,000. Do you know how many you've had in the past?
Oh, we're probably neck and neck.
Oh my gosh.
We've never met.
No, I just shut my mouth. And so Jackie was saying earlier, so after you have all these men, then what? Is that all there is?
No, they became friends of mine. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just a one-night stand. Mm-hmm. You know, you got to see each other grow, and they grew famous, more famous than they were when I met them.
Mm-hmm. But you started out looking for what, Barbara?
Fun, excitement, good-looking men.
Did you want, though, we were talking earlier about finally being able to settle down with somebody?
No.
You didn't? Mm-mm. So you knew marriage is what Jean was saying is absolutely out of the question.
Oh, really? Because, you know, well, if you fell in love, then you get married. But if you didn't, you know, keep him as a friend.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask, why do they call you the Butter Queen, doll?
Oh, you would ask me something like that. Well, my answer to that is those who know, and those who don't wish they did.
And I want to know, was it salted or unsalted?
Unsalted, slightly sweet.
Oh.
So when you wrote your book, I'm with the band, that's how you got backstage all the time, saying
I'm with the band? Well, no, it wasn't very difficult for me. In the 60s and early 70s, it was not as hard to get backstage as it is now.
Yeah,
it's
kind
of
much tougher.
impossible now.
Okay, yes.
Yes, I just wanted to speak on behalf of us women who are Kiss fans who are not into sexually molesting or throwing our bodies at Gene or Paul.
Why not?
My husband's here. Well, my husband's here with me, and he takes care of my sexual fantasies. But the one fantasy I have with Paul, and my husband knows it, is just a peck on the cheek and a handshake. And not all Kiss fans are these sex-starved women, and I think the audience needs to realize that.
Anytime.
We'll be right back. So we're talking about rock stars today with the author of this new book, Rockstar, Jackie Collins, and I'm reading about Bobby Mondella, who is one of the main characters in the book. And it's on page 229 if you are reading along here. He did as she asked, plunging deep inside that elegant mouth, ready and waiting to taste and tease him with feathery jabs of her tongue and a low animal groaning sound. I read that because, Gene, you're very famous for the use of your tongue.
We only know each other socially. This is not...
Are we on the air when you read that?
Yes.
Okay, that's just a little part of the book.
Yeah, I know. It's just a little part.
Yes, just a little taste of what
I read that because of the reference to the tongue and Gene's tongue. You know, he uses it a lot on stage. So, do you know how long your tongue is? I hear that it's longer than most.
Yeah. It's long enough to make you my very closest friend.
When you wrote that, Jackie, what were you thinking about?
You know something, when I wrote Rockstar, I was thinking about the fact that most rock stars like to create an image. They like to have that glamour, sexy, upfront image. But basically, they're all frightened of their mother. They've all got the mom at home, and they want to impress the family. Everybody's got a family, you know, and to create and go out and get that glamour image going is very important to them. So when I wrote Rockstar, I wanted to show every side of a rock star. I wanted to show what the groupie scene was like, what the business side was like, and what they wanted out of life in the end, and what happens to them.
And the answer to that is what? What do you want out of life in the end, Paul?
Just to keep on doing what I'm doing. And if my biggest problem is having cramps from smiling, I'm a lucky guy.
Still afraid of your mom?
I don't think that was my problem. I think my problem was I was breastfed too long. And so...
Oh, this is a good group here today.
Oh, I wanted to ask, if you were a male rock fan, you know, you go to these concerts and you already stated that you got into the rock business because you want to get the women. So you're a male rock fan. We go to this concert, we go home, all the beautiful girls are gone. You're with them.
They're not gone.
By your recognition that most of them are gone to your place. What are we supposed to do? I mean,
wait outside the hotel.
We listen to rock and roll because we like it. We like to hear our rock stars say, hey, I play this music because this is great, this is what I want to feel. Sometimes I don't feel good about listening to some rock star says, oh, I do this because I want to get laid every night.
That's valid, but, you know, at this point, we wouldn't be doing this for any other reason except we enjoy it. We've been doing this long enough that if it was a financial thing that we were doing, we would have quit a long time ago. We do this because it's great fun. To some people, being on the road 10 months a year would be a nightmare. To me, digging ditches would be a nightmare. You know, it's all a matter of which side of the fence you're on. I'm real happy doing this, and we do it because we love it.
Back in a moment. Kiss is headed for a Japan tour where they'll have some Japanese delights, I'm sure, over there. Their album that's out right now, it's called Crazy Nights. It's already gone platinum, but you could buy some more and make it. I don't know what comes after platinum.
Double platinum.
Double platinum.
Double platinum, okay.
On its way.
Pamela's book is called I'm With the Band, and it's out this summer, and paperback. And Jackie's book is just out today. So if you go to the bookstore today, you can be one of the first millions in the country to have it. It's called, what we've been talking about today, Rockstar. You wanted to say, Gene?
Yeah, I think people misunderstand groupies. If all the women, and the guys too, if everybody were just honest with themselves for a second, when the lights go out and nobody's there, everybody's got their fantasy figure. If it's a figure from a book someplace or if it's a real person, everybody wants that one person. The only difference is that groupies do something about it, and you just fantasize about it.
Okay, read about it.
So there you have it. Tom, what do you think?
Oh, boy, there's a lot to unpack here, and we'll get into it. But just at first glance, what a snapshot of the 80s. And to me, what I took from this is it is a Oprah Winfrey interview It's like this should have been part of the exposed VHS because it's Paul and Gene in their exposed persona.
Yes.
The one-liners, the little innuendo, the jokes, the tongue-in-cheek cheesiness and corniness, the cringe things. We're going to unpack all of it, but what's your take on a lot of it?
So let's talk first, the visual aspect of it.
Oh, absolutely. We will do that.
So first of all, Oprah is in like hefty Oprah stage at this point.
Ooh, you even cuted in your baby pictures. Ooh.
You're looking big.
There's a rumor that Gene got the inspiration for the lyrics to Spit after meeting Oprah.
Yeah, most definitely.
Anyways, go ahead.
Paul and Gene.
Oh,
I thought this was the non-makeup era.
Go ahead. You go first.
Gene has got so much rouge on and like his cheeks and the makeup they got on, like, but not good makeup. They got 80s like poison makeup.
It looks like the kind of makeup that you put on somebody like when you're getting ready to do like special effects.
Yeah.
Like when you're getting ready to like put something on them. Like it looks like they didn't finish.
Yeah.
But the thing that stuck out to me was Paul in his Captain Crunch outfit. What are you doing? I know it's 1988. And not to mention, he looks all ragged. Like, trim your eyebrows and your hair and shave. He looks like a gorilla. He's a big fucking hairball. Oh.
You call it that. I call it his Michael Jackson military garb jacket.
That too, yes.
Him and Michael Jackson shop at the same military store. What's with the fucking lapels and all the other fucking stupid shit going on?
Settle down, fucking Rhythm Nation here. But this is not what we're doing right now.
Yes. Pamela looks pretty good there, huh?
She's very cute with the redhead. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah. Nice little outfit. Jackie Collins looks like she walked out of her sister's dynasty, like Joan Collins' dynasty set with the big shoulder things, the big hairdo and stuff. Quintessential 80s look.
Joan Collins was 51 years old when this was recorded. I'm going to tell you right now.
You mean Jackie?
I'm sorry, Jackie. In my opinion, you could say whatever you want about me.
No, here we go.
She is fucking smoking hot in this interview. She is smoking hot. It's the British accent. It's the fact that she writes filthy books, so you know she is a total freak. And she just looked fucking fantastic in that. Oh, I loved it.
Like all those older MILFs.
Yes,
soap operas that you watched and you were like, because your parents were watching, like, ooh, who's that on Dynasty?
Exactly.
Like, who's that? You know, you'd watch these like older when we were younger back then.
Yeah.
Like, damn, I would get with this woman. And you're like, but she's wicked old. She's like 40.
Yeah.
But you're like, ooh, god damn.
I'm watching that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to be 48 next month. This was recorded. She was 51. I'm like, fuck, I'm getting old because she's hot. Like you're right. Like when we were like 18, be like, oh, look at that old lady.
Like, god damn. Yeah, that's the other thing. The other thing I would pick up is Paul's body language.
Absolutely correct.
What's up with him squirming to the right?
Yep.
As he's nervous to be close. He can't stand up and just be like shoulder to shoulder next to Gene. Like he's like slouching over like a little girl would in a family photo. Like she's like feels awkward next to like an older adult male. Like
Gene was a picture of confidence. Forget about what he said or anything. He knew exactly who he was, and he's like, even what he said was full of confidence, whether you think he's an asshole or not.
A couple things that we can go off on that.
Yeah.
This was Gene the leader. No fucking way would this ever go this way in an interview now. No fucking way.
Nope.
Gene, Paul was so nervous, you could tell. He let Gene do it, and he had his rehearsed lines about buffets and things. He had it ready, but it was Gene was the leader. Gene was the star of Kiss. Gene is the main guy.
Yep.
Fuck no would he ever allow that image to be portrayed nowadays. Never.
Well, speaking of allowing images, when you watch this, can you imagine Paul? Gene would get a chuckle out of it. Paul must just be mortified that these videos like this exist out there, because this is not the Paul Stanley. Again, it was 1988. It was friggin' 33 years ago, whatever the hell, how long ago it was. But you're right. This was all Gene. And I think that also has to do with the fact that obviously Gene is more confident. Gene is notorious for having all the sex, all the women's. We'll get into that, those details. But you're right. Paul was leaning over he was like half out of the chair the entire time.
Yeah. Now think about this. Not too far along later on, around the Revenge era, we already taped the episode we discussed in our previous episode, Saint and Sinner.
Yep.
Where Paul is just like mocking Gene for this type of behavior. Where Gene is still doing the shtick.
Yeah, but
doing that stuff. And then Paul's like, yeah, well, any idiot can talk like this. Dude, you were fine to play along and be like second in command and just like hang on to Gene and tug on his jacket and let Gene like total be the spokesman for Kiss. Never in a million years would that happen now.
Well, and also, too, we also did the episode on Kiss Confidential, and we were cringing about Paul's behavior during that, too, because that was Revenge era Kiss, too. But this right here was you could tell Paul was uncomfortable, which is surprising. But Gene was just balls out confidence. He knew exactly who he was and what he wanted to say. And he was prepared with those questions. We'll get into that because the audience, they came at them with some good questions. I thought, I got to give Oprah credit. I thought she took this interview seriously because the topic is about groupies and rock stars having sex with tons of women. I thought Oprah did a great job. I think she had a sense of humor. She handled it seriously when it required it to be serious, and she had fun with it too. I thought she did a good job.
I think you hit the nail on the head, and you can see why other talk show people don't have that. They don't have it. Nope. She has it. Obviously, this isn't her world, like group sex and rock stars and stuff, but she handled it and smooth and had charm. Her, like Gene was big time trying to flirt with her back and forth. She would laugh with him like, yeah, okay, Gene. All right. And roll her eyes and kind of laugh with him, but not insult him.
Nope.
And the same thing with his audience and make the conversation interesting. There's a huge skill set there. And not anybody could pull that off. Imagine Donahue trying to do this. Oh, hold on a minute.
I was thinking. I know it wasn't the same topic, but just in terms of like somebody that's just look at the way Mike Douglas interviewed Gene Simmons during that. Like just the stodgy old white dude who's clueless about anything, you know?
Yeah, but he wasn't insulting either.
No.
He's like asking him and going back and forth. So they were talking, basically the episode was about groupies, and it starts with Jackie Collins talking about her book, and then they bring out Gene and Paul and Pamela as well. And then they start audience questions, and they're talking about, at this time, Gene is bragging about how many sex he's had, like 2,000 in the last 10 years. They were talking about women. Are they treating them like sex? Everyone that watched this or just heard this, we've all heard this stuff before.
Yep.
Gene and Paul talking about women like this, and they have their cliches. And so here are some of the stuff that I remembered from the episode, Paul saying. Imagine Paul hearing this now and someone interview Paul Stanley. Is it true that you said when you go on tour, you just load up the bus with the best 30 looking ones? All right.
Yeah.
Didn't he say that? We just load up the bus, the best looking ones, the 30 best looking ones.
Imagine that.
And you kind of take it as it comes, so to speak.
And then that was actually a funny part. And that's right there when I'm like, okay, Oprah's cool as shit, because she's like, so to speak. And then she kind of then she kind of chuckled and the crowd chuckled. So they get it.
Kind of like a buffet where everything is laid out and is there to be eaten if you want to.
That's right. It's exposed. It's from Exposed. It's like leftover quotes from Exposed.
When you jump from a plane, you should wear a parachute.
That was awesome because they started talking about, has the era changed with safe sex and AIDS? And he's like, well, like you said, like everything he talks is in a little quip. Like it like Gene was talking as an adult. Everything.
But he heard the conversation. He heard the question.
Of course.
He had, no matter what you said, he has that quip. Paul has that, he's going to throw that sentence in.
Yep. But I love that. He's like, yeah, when you jump out of a plane, you should use a parachute. Be like, oh, God.
Gene, we wanted women and lots of them and their daughters. And then Jackie Collins goes, and their granddaughters.
That was awesome.
I've heard that song, Christine 16.
I look right in your face.
He didn't say that, but and then Gene says, and women, it's like they scaled Mount Olympus. And then that's when Oprah was like, Mount Olympus, Gene, like
settle down.
Settle down, rouge wearing goofball.
Settle down, Gene Klein, right now.
And then there are a couple interesting things that I found in some of the comments.
Okay.
Gene goes, when I'm 16, 70, it's too late. I'll be bored. Dude, you are that now.
I have that written down too, and I thought that was so amazing because when he gave this interview in 1988, did he ever think that in 2021 they'd be doing an end of the road tour? And I think that's amazing that they are.
Yeah, and the sound of it, because they kept bragging about, like, you know, you get into it for girls.
Yeah.
And then, you know, at some point they did ask, like, aren't you in it from, like, your music? When I want to ask you, and then he's like, well, no, we like music. We wouldn't be doing this. We don't really have a need to do this. We do this obviously because we like music.
Paul had a good one kind of near the conclusion or kind of near the end of the interview where he had a good line where he says, talking about, you know, washed up LA rock stars, a pathetic washed up rock stars from LA are pathetic to begin with. They have problems that stem from something deeper. And I was like, dude, talk about not having any self-reflection on your comments there. Who the fuck do you think you are with a statement like that?
Where was that coming from? Because the exact quote was, the truth of the matter is that a lot of these LA rock stars, these washed up LA rock stars, are pathetic to begin with. I don't consider myself part of that ilk anyway. And their problems stem from something a lot deeper than being in bands with guitars.
So what, Paul? You think you're different than you think you're different than like Vince Neil or Bret Michaels, or you're them? You're one of them.
Like, who's washed up by that point? Fucking hair metal was like not even in its prime yet in 87,
like on top of the world at that time.
Yeah, it was still going up. Like, who's the washed up LA band? Like, I know Kiss was still thinking they were like New York.
Right.
Who are you insulting? And why are you insulting them?
But that's the thing. Not only does he call them washed up, but he's like, yeah, problems stemming from something deeper. Now you're going to psychoanalyze these guys too, on top of shitting on them? Like that right then, it speaks volumes about what we've said about Paul about his ability to be introspective or judgmental, or, you know, that whole psychoanalysis that he does of himself and others. Like he was doing it back then.
Those LA bands that he just shit on, they all call Kiss their influence.
Absolutely.
All those LA bands.
Yep.
What the fuck you doing? Who pissed them off? Maybe that's the Guns N' Roses / shit that he was having problems right around that time.
Could be, because that was 88. That was 88.
That's probably where he was going with this. Because I'm like, who did he have a problem with? They were all on his tour with him.
But Guns wasn't washed up in 1988.
He's calling them that. I bet you that's who he's referring to.
Could be.
Right?
Could be.
That they have problems and stuff and things like that.
But can we get to one of my favorite non-Paul and Gene bits of this entire episode?
Go ahead.
When Oprah starts taking questions from the audience,
yeah.
And she takes a question from this woman who just open fires on Gene and Paul,
but pop singer.
But the greatest quote ever, and I literally burst out laughing. She gets up there and starts talking about how she's very into music. She knows the scene.
With everybody. Yeah.
She's a bass player herself. She's like, you know, I find it really insulting. Maybe I want to talk to you because I want to talk about how you play the bass or how you got into music because I'm a big fan. Then she goes, you know, I spent 2 weeks on the road with my boyfriend. He's a manager in a very successful band, Saxon. I fucking died when I heard that. That was, but kudos to her. She's like, you know, She's like, maybe I want to talk to you because I'm a big fan of your music. I'm a big fan of the instruments you play, the songs you write. Just because I come up to you, if I'm wearing a short miniskirt or if I'm wearing leather pants, it doesn't mean I want to sleep with you. And then all of a sudden, Paul and Gene are like, whoa, nobody said that. Like, nobody, slow down. Nobody said that. Gene even used the word speechless because Oprah's like, how do you want to respond? He's like, I don't know what to say about that. I'm speechless. And Paul's like, well, we never really said that. And she just kept going and going and going.
Yeah, but then Paul did throw out that comment. Well, you know, you are who you dress like that. We're going to perceive like. Imagine that's the opposite. Now I dare him to play that form in front of people now that you're being judged by how you're dressed, and so if you're dressed like that, then you're a slut and you're asking for it. I mean, that's what he's basically saying.
Yeah, because that was another line the woman said. She goes, "There's a difference between women and sluts."
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, whoa. And then Pamela, and then poor Pamela. I think Pamela had a lot to offer, but I think Paul and Gene just kind of sucked a lot of the oxygen out of the room because she didn't have enough to chime in. I thought I would have liked to have heard a little bit more from her because Oprah started bringing up the thing about, you know, these women being like devalued or being used, I think might have been the word. And Pamela was like, no, that's not how I felt. You know, I there was something in it for me too. I wanted to be close to these guys. I knew how famous they were and how creative they were. And I wanted to be close to them. And it was, you know, the argument about, you know, are these women being used if they already know what they're in for, if they're choosing to sleep with these guys, you know, they're not being abused or sexually assaulted, you know, from what we know, it's all consensual. But
exactly. So what's the issue? Like I think Paul and Gene were just saying like, we're having fun. We're doing our thing. They want what they want. Like some people talk about at the end of the show when they said, Gene, you wanted to add something? Gene was basically saying, you know, a lot of people want to have these dreams to be with these people.
Yep.
The groupie is the actual one who goes out and does it. So I think he's trying to give women inspiration. If you're a hot woman and you've ever thought about it, yeah, just come sleep with me. I will sleep with you.
I know. It's crazy. It was crazy.
And it's funny because at one point they were going over the numbers of Gene. He's like, oh, that'd be like 200 a year.
Yeah, it would be.
You know, 2,000, 10 years or whatever like that. And then they asked Pamela, and Oprah says, Pamela, wouldn't that make you feel bad if you were one of 2,000? She's like, no. She's like, well, I'm not one of them yet.
That was awesome. I know. I love that.
You know, Gene is like,
got it. Yep.
And there's a couple other hornier moments too.
Paul had another great one where, again, part of his script, doctors, lawyers, like again with the doctors and the lawyers and the whole, you know, that whole scripted thing, you know,
and senators too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They got into a whole thing about senators and senators' wives and everything.
And so the other thing I wanted to mention is there were a couple times there that Gene's horniness could not be contained.
Oh, totally.
There was one when a woman was talking about something, he like perked up and he's like, oh. And then when Jackie was reading a portion of her book about the tongue.
Oh, yeah.
He was like fucking like drooling on her right next to her. You could tell he was like, why don't you and me go discuss your book in my trailer? Like he definitely was all like horned up. If radar go off.
Dude, anybody out there that knows anything about Jackie Collins's books, they were just all horned out like sex novels for like, you know, the middle America housewife to get for friggin' rocks off. That's what and Rockstar is a fictionalized version of what she really researched, and you know, her characters were based on.
Yeah, and she wrote a book about these guys.
Right.
Yeah, there's another thing in here that they were showing clips. And amongst the clips they were showing between commercial breaks, they had Vince Neil.
Yes.
Right? They had fellow Pantheon podcaster Carmine Apiece.
That's right. Yep.
Not Appice.
Yep.
And he was talking. And then Frank Zappa, fellow Grecian, part Grecian.
There you
said
go.
Something.
Yeah.
And then they cut back and Oprah says, Paul, what do you have to say about that or something? Oh, I wasn't listening.
I know. I'm like,
why are you being like, why are you cutting on people?
But for a minute I was like, is he really not listening, or is he just like dismissing the fact that that Frank Zappa's comment pretty much just shit on Paul?
Yeah, like I think he was just trying to be like, who's that insignificant person? Dude, I love you, Paul, but Frank Zappa has way more critics loving him.
I was just going to say,
you and your Pasta Primavera are doing these weeks.
I was just going to say, I might not be a fan of Frank Zappa, but I sure as shit respect his abilities and what he has brought to the world of music. And, you can't just, who's that guy?
Because you wrote, "You Make Me Rock Hard."
Oh, pew.
But then,
Go ahead.
when she asked Gene about his tongue, how long is your tongue, when they were going over that clip in the book, and he's like, long enough to make you my very closest friend. I haven't heard that one.
But you know what I love about that? I love the confidence and the humor that Gene's not afraid. And I love, that's what I'm saying. I love Oprah's response. You know,
I'm used to like, the floor's dirty, and shit like that. But then they bring in the fucking butter queen, Barbara Cope. You know her story.
Yeah, kinda, yeah.
Did you see the tension between her and Pamela?
I did.
She asked him after, so why don't you tell people why they call him? She goes, you would ask me that question. Why they call her that?
I saw that.
So Barbara Cope, the other famous groupie, was in the audience.
Yep.
And Oprah started asking her about it. And she's like, did you ever want to marry this? She was like, no. And she slept, and she's like, how much do you sleep with? And she's like, I'm right around that same area as Gene. Like 2000.
Yeah.
And Gene is like looking at her like, make it 2001.
Exactly. Yep.
But the story goes, she used to carry around butter with her and use it as lubricant with all these rock stars. Dude, wouldn't you get major cholesterol because your flaps would suck in all that butter?
Dude, I'm thinking of that Seinfeld episode where Kramer gets all the butter all over him and Newman's like, oh, hey, buddy.
Like, hey, buddy,
with the chicken wing. Hey, buddy. The butter queen.
She was called the butter queen because she used to carry packets of butter or something and stick them in her vagina for lubricant.
Dude, come on, man. Come on.
And
it's like literally churning butter when you're banging that chick. It's like,
you're like those old fucking from Plymouth Plantation.
But you're like,
costume reenactors.
It's like Little House on the Prairie. Hey, here's the butter queen over there.
Let me tell you, at Stonehill.
Uh-oh.
We had to go on a field trip for our writing class with Professor McCarran. Philbo was in this group.
Yes. Wait, is this when you went to Plymouth? Yeah. Go ahead.
So we're going to Plymouth Plantation. Yep. It's like senior year in college. And we're on a field trip there. 2 buses. Our bus, we brought a case of beer with us on our bus. Drinking like we were on a fucking bus ride from high school hockey. We're pounding beers. By the time we get to Plymouth Plantation, we're fucking in the bag. And we're walking around. And Philbo, this Matt Philbo, I don't know why he goes by Philbo. He makes his name Italian sound.
Hey, Philbo.
Well, anyways, he's like as Irish as fucking can be. And he was my roommate. And he used to stamp dollar bills with fucking like IRA shit. Remember that stuff?
Yes, yeah.
He was like Mr. fucking Ireland back then. Hey, what's going on here? Is there fucking a Notre Dame game going on? Hey, he'd have the deep voice like, hey, what's going on?
And IRA flag in his dorm room.
Fucking kid.
Oh yeah.
But he's still 5'2".
Yep.
But he could fight.
He was like the Notre Dame mascot. He was like the little friggin' fighting Irish guy.
Oh, his temper. And I've seen him beat the bag out of some people. Yep. But regardless, we're in there. And he's shit-faced. We're all shit-faced. Meanwhile, I shouldn't say all. Us two and the rest of the class.
Everybody else is like, this is interesting, Professor. Can you tell me more? And you and Phil were like,
Professor McCarran, he used to call him, Phil will go, oh, the fucking rapist? I'm like, dude, why do you call him the rapist?
Why am I laughing at that?
Because he used to have a scratch mark on his neck. he was a rapist. Some woman scratched him while she couldn't get him off. I'm like, dude, where the fuck did you come up with this scenario? The rapist. But anyways, so we're there. And because he's Mr. Ireland, all these reenactors are doing, and Philbo's like getting like confrontational with them. Oh, you fucking, you limeys here, you fucking Brits, you fucking get out of here. And then one guy goes, I remember this. You must be one of these savages from the island, huh? You would have thought he fucking insulted his mom. Like, it went from like playful thing into, dude, I'll fucking knock you out till fucking tomorrow, and I'll fucking kick your fucking teeth down your throat. I don't give a fuck who's here. And I'm like, dude, calm the fuck down.
Philbo is the only kid that could start a fight with a reenactor at a friggin' museum.
On a field trip in the middle of the
trip.
I mean, oh my God. And then other fucking reenactors started coming over and people like pushing each other. And he's like, I'll fucking kill you to the guy. And like somehow we didn't get in trouble and he got pushed aside and we finished our rest of our trip when we both passed out on the bus. And they're like, hey, we're here. Get off. I'm like, oh.
Get off me, you rapist.
One more thing about that class. We had a girl in that class, and her last name was the typical. You probably remember Crapo.
Oh, shit. Of course I remember.
Crapo.
Crapo.
What is the first thing the professor says? First day.
Hey, Miss Crapo?
We're 2-year-olds. This was our last semester, this senior year, and we're still laughing at the poor girl's name. Oh my God. Fucking Philbo. Hey, what's going on there, you fucking...
This is what happens. We go from butter to Philbo beating up somebody in Plymouth Plantation. Oh, man, I love it.
Oh, my fucking God.
I love it. Oh.
So, back to this episode.
Oh, Jesus.
That's the butter queen.
I keep thinking of Butterbean.
Yeah. And Gene sits up when she talks. He goes, we've never met.
Oh, yeah. Like, Jesus Christ, Gene.
Poor horniest man. Him and fucking Sonny Pooney.
Sonny Pooney will be on Oprah soon.
Yeah, and that's when Pamela asked, like, oh, why don't you tell people where you got that name? It's like, you would ask me why I got that name. And she just kind of sat back. I'm like,
yeah.
Ooh, there's tension there.
That was good. Yeah. Yep.
And so they just finished up. They were talking some more stuff. And you know what? A small little tidbit. She's like, Pamela's book is now going to come out on paperback. Kiss is promoting their tour, their album. Was it platinum? Goes, and we maybe sell some more, and maybe it'll go. What would it go next? They're like double platinum, and she's like, and Jackie's book is coming out today. So if you can pick one, good luck. Like, this is Oprah. She's not giving everybody a Crazy Night CD, a free book from the other one.
I think this is the early days of Oprah. This is 88. I don't think that was giveaway Oprah era.
It wasn't everyone gets a free new car.
Plus, can you imagine those people looking under their seat? What the fuck is Crazy Nights? This album sucks.
What? Crazy Nights. What is Bang You?
Not to mention, you saw those women in the audience. They're not listening. They're not listening to When Your Walls Come Down turned up.
Did you see the one that was like, I'm not a slut, I'm not a thing, and I have a fantasy. My husband takes care of me, but I wanted to give Paul a hug and a kiss. And Gene, this was a very interesting. Gene pushes, like, gives a shrug to Paul. Go ahead.
Yeah, like
orders Paul. Go ahead.
Permission. Yeah. And Paul. Yeah. First of all, that woman. I don't want to know anything about her. Or
she
her
looks
husband.
like would belong in a family with a ventriloquist.
Everybody in that audience looked like they were just fucking horrified.
She's a listener of ours. She's a huge Kiss fan and went to that thing. She is probably listening right now and going, that was me, you asshole.
That was me. I'm canceling my Patreon subscription now.
And Paul gave me a reach around on the Oprah show, and I filed a suit against him.
God almighty.
Imagine now Paul getting shrugged by Gene. Go ahead, do something.
Yeah.
Paul would look back and be like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Don't ever tell me to do anything."
It's an amazing snapshot of the band of Paul and Gene at that era, 88. Just, I mean, look, we know that we played the audio for you during this, but you have to go and check out the video of it because it really adds a lot more when you see the body language and the facial expressions of everybody involved. It makes it that much better.
Yeah, and you get to see a thin Vince Neil too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, when they do the little excerpts. Speaking of Vince Neil.
He's not what you would call a fit person after all this time.
And he can't sing either based on what we just saw on YouTube. Yikes.
Lord. But to me, all these flashback episodes are a snapshot in time. Where was the band? What was the dynamic? What were their financial? Like, they were probably hurting for money at this point. The dynamic of Gene is the star. Gene is still the big one. Paul is still nervous and uncomfortable. Look at the way he was sitting throughout the whole episode.
But also, too, look at they were asked to be on Oprah with Jackie Collins. So at the time, one of the biggest authors in the world, one of the biggest talk shows in the world. And the topic is groupies, which you're coming on this show almost as a cartoon character, a caricature of real life. And I think that's why Gene really embraced it. And I think Paul, we said it before, I think his body language was uncomfortable because I think he was uncomfortable with being up on the stage with that being the topic where Gene was like, fuck yeah, bring it. I'll answer all your questions. I'm here for that.
Paul was like totally taking Gene's lead. He wishes he could be as smooth, easy, and confident. He has his lines. He throws them in. He's the better looking of the two. You would have no idea.
Even Paul's pretty much one of his last lines during the interview was, he said it before, if I die with a smile plastered on my face or whatever words he used, like he again, everything was just a one-liner, a quip.
Yeah. But these videos are always fun to take, break down, talk about the dynamic, talk about what's going on in the band. And this is no different. I actually thoroughly enjoyed talking about this episode, Tom.
Yeah, me too. We're watching this clip, listening to the clip, watching the video. It was 40 minutes long or whatever. To me, it flew by because it was really entertaining. It was riveting shit. And I think Oprah's participation and the audience participation added to it. I thought it was really good. And anything from the 80s. Plus, this isn't a video that I've never even seen. I never knew it existed. So jumping into it was like, damn, this is interesting. Probably something that they're not happy that we're talking about now and bringing it up.
Yeah, I think Paul is extremely embarrassed by this if he saw this now.
No doubt.
He would like try to completely deflect and try to dismiss this. Or I was being a character. I'm not that way and whatever. So, Tom, what we usually do after like TV appearances, we actually rank them.
Go ahead.
We have ranked so far ABC in Concert, Mike Douglas Show, Paul Lynde Halloween Special, Land of Hype and Glory, MTV Kiss Unmasking. And now we've got Paul and Gene on Oprah. Do you have your list or do you need me to do it for you, buddy?
You can read them off.
Okay. So, Tom, your order is ABC in Concert, Land of Hype and Glory, Mike Douglas, Paul Lynde Halloween Special, MTV Kiss Unmasking. Where does Paul and Gene on Oprah go?
Well, it's just the two of them. There's no music performance. I know the MTV Unmasking didn't have music either, but that has a little bit more cachet because of the iconic meaning of that. I was entertained by this, but I'm going to put this last. I liked it, but I'm going to put it last.
All right. I have my order: Mike Douglas, Paul Lynde Halloween Special, ABC in Concert, MTV Kiss Unmasking, last Land of Hype and Glory. I'm going along with you. I'm putting this last. I actually like this. It was interesting.
I did too.
It was nice to watch them. Not so much like the conversations fast, but I like the playfulness of Gene and Oprah. I like the dynamic of how you can tell Gene's the leader and Paul is more submissive to him, and like the puppy dog to Gene. It's quite interesting. Now, am I going to watch this over and over again and learn something? No, but I'm glad it was on our list of shows to watch, and I actually enjoyed it. So it is number 6 for me.
Yep.
We hope you guys enjoyed it, and any other last comments, Tom, or thoughts?
I'm glad we found this because I didn't know it existed. And I think it's interesting because the thing I thought that was intriguing and interesting to me was that it was different, that it wasn't talking about the band. It wasn't talking about touring, recording. What's it like playing the bass? What's it like having, Eric Carr in the band or whatever? It was about groupies. It was about a separate side topic that we know that Kiss is known for. And I think that's what made it a little bit fascinating for me.
Yeah. Yep. So, Tom, what we do next is we go to this.
Hi, this is Ed Spansberg of ClickTshop.com, and for all your Shouted Out Loudcast gear and merchandise, please visit ClickTshop.com. At ClickTshop, you can find lots of Kiss-inspired t-shirt designs, plus mugs, hats, hoodies, pillows, and all new fine art selections. And now, here's your question of the week.
All right, and our question of the week comes from good friend of the show, longtime listener, lovely Lance Lumley. Hey guys, wasn't sure if this was ever covered on your show, but we know what some of your favorite Kiss albums are, but what is your favorite Kiss music video? Not a VHS or DVD release, but an actual video. We've talked ad nauseum about what our overall favorite one is. I don't know if you want to comment on that or maybe talk about something different, but he's talking about like a music video, not, Kiss Exposed or whatever. What do you think?
I mean, you'd have to go with their first video, which is I Love It Loud.
Okay.
Are you talking video or video clips?
Video, like music video.
Like, are you saying Shandy is the video clip? Are you saying that?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a video that was on MTV. Okay. Just something that they produced as a music video.
So then for me, there's no doubt about it. My favorite of all time by them is Sure Know Something.
Exactly. Absolutely. No doubt. It's not even close. That is by far the greatest. Now, there might be there's probably not a lot of other songs that are much better than that in terms of videos, but that to me is magic, that video. And we've talked about it before. The I Love It Loud video, I will say, because that was going to be my other pick. That video is fantastic for many reasons because it has the band and their Creatures of the Night costumes, but it also has that story of the kid with his family, how they turn around at the end and their eyes are colored. Like, those are the two that stick out for me. Yeah, there's others. I know I'm a big fan of the Forever video. I think that is a very joyful and happy video. I love the smile on everybody's faces during that video. It makes me feel good, and it makes me feel sad because I know that it's pretty much the last time we saw Eric. So the Forever video I love, but at classic Kiss, it would be Sure Know Something, and I Love It Loud.
Yeah, I would stick with that. And you never know. We might make an episode out of this, so I don't want to get into too much details.
Yep. It was fun. That was also the addendum to his question. Maybe a future episode, perhaps we can talk about that. So, yep. But Lance, thank you. And thanks as always for being a friend of the show and interacting with us. Great question, buddy. Thank you.
Tom, where can people find us?
Well, our email is probably the best place to check us out. Send us an email at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We read all of them. We might not read all of them on the air, but we read all of them. We discuss them. We read most of them on the air. Some of them we read privately. But we do respond. So please, feedback, comments, episodes, ideas, criticisms, things you love, things you want to see, whatever, all that good stuff. And then, of course, all the social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, we're on all those, very active on all those. We have the great Shouted Out Loudcasters Facebook group, which is slowly approaching 3,000 members, I believe, which is insane. You guys are awesome. That's a great, fun place to be, sharing all kinds of stories and pictures and articles and just a nice, non-toxic place for Kiss fans to hang out. And of course, we mentioned earlier with the great Pamela DeBar, we're part of the Pantheon Podcast group. Tons of great shows there. Lots of great things on there for you to check out. And we're one of them. We're proud of that. So, and of course, our buddy Ed from Click Tea Shop, Click with a K. He's the one who designed our great logo and has some amazing Kiss-inspired gear. So check him out. He's got some really awesome new images, including one for Revenge, which I just ordered. And he's also got an album review crew shirt, which he also designed that logo. So check him out too. Good friend of the show. Ed's our buddy. And lastly, we said it earlier in the show, and I'm going to reiterate the gratitude that we have towards all of our Patreon subscribers. Please check it out. You can go to patreon.com and search for us, or check out the app, the Patreon app. We're eternally grateful for all the people that are part of that family right now. And we encourage you to check it out and be part of the family. So thank you for all those who are currently part of the family, and anybody that might show interest to become a future part as well.
Yeah, Tom, I always like to reiterate the email, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe and follow our YouTube page. That is growing, and it's a lot of fun there, so we appreciate that. We love the feedback there. And we also like when you guys give us DMs on our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram accounts. If you guys you have a message you want to send to us, you can always send us a direct message there. In addition, we'd like to start getting some of those 5-star child reviews on Apple Podcasts. You can go to iTunes. If you find it, I think we have a link to that on our episode page. See if you guys can give us one of those 5-star reviews. We always appreciate those. We certainly will read it on the air. And it's a big help to us, and we appreciate it. If someone could go out and do that for the next episode, we'll be happy to read it by the time we record next week. So much appreciated there. Tom, what we do next is we end on famous last words. You got any?
Of course. And in honor of the groupie topic, the plaster's getting harder, and my love is perfection. A token of my love for her collection.
Whoa. Here's a little song for everybody out there.
Oh, man. A little song. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Tom, thank you. Kiss Army, thank you. Loudcasters, thank you.
Everybody out there, guys, thank you so much. We love you guys so much for making the show what it is and continuing to grow and expand the audience. Loudcasters, everybody out there. Zeus, of course, my friend, thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout.